Okay, good afternoon, everybody. We are on 7-9 today, and this is finding factors. Now, just remember what a factor is. Whenever we do a multiplication problem, the factors are the two digits that we're multiplying by in order to get our product. So a factor times a factor equals the product. Okay? So, what we're going to do is for 1 through 12, we're going to find all the factors of each number. Okay? And so here's how I'm going to show you how to do this. You can do this on this page, that's fine. But whenever we're trying to find the factor of a number, we've got 54 here, we always start with 1. So 1 is a factor of everything. 1 times 54 is going to equal 54. So 1 and 54 are our first two factors. Now here's another rule. If the number that's your product is an even number, meaning it ends with a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, if it's an even number, then 2 will also be a factor of that number. So 2 times what number equals 54? Now, this one you're going to probably have to divide on. So just figure that out. 54 divided by 2. And 2 goes into 5 twice. So 2 times 2 is 4. 5 take away 4 is 1. And then we drop that 4 down. We bring it down. So again, that was the divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. Then we go back and divide again. So 2 goes into 14 7 times. 7 times 2 is 14. 14 take away 14 is 0. So the factor of 2, 2 times 27, gives us 54. Okay, so those are the next two factors. Then we keep going on up. Once we get into the higher numbers, it might be easier to use your multiplication chart. So we've already done 1, we've already done 2. Now we're going to look here to see if 3 is a factor of 54. So we go down to 3, we slide across to see if 54 is on there, and of course this one does not go up that high. So we would have to continue. We'd have to go ahead and divide it again. And again, we would just do 54 divided by 3. So 3 goes into 5 one time, we multiply, we subtract, and we bring down. 3 into 24, 8 times 3 is 24, we know that. So we come out with 0 remainder, so that means that 3 and 18 are both factors of 54. So yes, 3 and 18. Okay, let's keep going up here. 4. Would 4 be a factor of 54? We're just going to use our chart here and slide across. It goes up to 52 and up to 56. So if we don't see 54 on there, then 4 would not be a factor. Okay, let's try 5. We know 5 won't be a factor because 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 11 would be 55, so that would not work. And of course, we can just look on our chart again. 5, there's 50, there's 55. So we know that 5 is not a factor of 54. So we keep going up. 6, just keep using your chart here. 6, is 6 a factor of 54? We see it here, so yes it is. So 6 times 9 is 54. So we're going to write 6 and 9. Now here's the other rule when we're figuring out our factors. This top row, as you can see, the numbers are going up in sequence. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They're increasing in value. The bottom row, 54, 27, 18, 9, you can see they're decreasing in value. So the closer that these digits get to each other, you know that you're almost done finding all the factors. Okay, the only two numbers we have left here would be 7 and 8. And we know that 7 times 8 is not 54. So we're done. There are 8 factors of 54. Okay, that can be kind of a long process, especially if you have to do a bunch of division problems. So make sure you do these division problems on a separate piece of paper. But please use this times tables chart to help you solve the problems. If you don't have one of these at home, you can go ahead and go to mrpackham.us, and I do have one on there that you can download and print off. Or you can just go and Google multiplication chart, and there's tons of them out here. That's how I found this one. I just Googled it. So you can get a multiplication chart really easy. Let's do one more. I'll go ahead and do number 2 with you real quick. Okay, 17. Now again, we always start with 1 and the number 17. Those are always going to be a factor. 1 is a factor of everything. Okay, so 1 and 17 are factors. So remember what I said before. If this number is even, if there's an even number in the ones place, then it will be a factor of 2. 2 will be a factor of that number. But since this is not even, then 2 is not going to be a factor. We can skip 2. And in fact, 17, it does not have any other factors. So if you were to look on this chart, you won't find 17 anywhere. So we are done with number 2. So I'll go ahead and do one more with you since that was such an easy one. Okay, number 3. Again, we're going to start with the number 1 and the 28. So 1 and 28. And then since 28 is an even number, we know that 2 is a factor. And if you could count by 2s and figure out what the other factor is, or you could go and divide. So I'm just going to divide it real quick. 28 divided by 2. Okay, 2 goes into 2 one time. We multiply, we subtract, and then we bring down. 2 goes into 8 4 times. We multiply, subtract, and there's nothing left to bring down. So we have a 0 here. Now, if you ever do a multiplication problem like this and you get a remainder, then you know for sure that this number is not divisible by that those two numbers are not factors. Okay, so if you ever get a remainder, they're not going to be factors. But since we have 0 as a remainder, 2 and 14 will be factors. Okay, so let's keep going up. We're going to go with 3. If we look on our chart here for 3 and we slide across, it goes up to 27 and then 30. So we know that 3 is not a factor. So let's try 4. Again, we're looking for 28. 4 does have 28, so we know that 7 and 4, let's do 4 and 7 are factors. Now see again how these are getting close to each other. That means we're almost done here. The only numbers we have left are 5 and 6, and I know that 5 is not a factor of 28. That's just something we know. If we counted by 5s, we would never say 28. So we're done. There are 6 factors of 28. So boys and girls, just keep doing the rest of these problems the way that I just showed you how to do them, and you should be able to get this homework done pretty quickly. Have a nice night.